Hi guys, and welcome to this quick TA session on how to find market structure. In this session, I'm going to explain how to approach a clean chart and discover market structure. And for this, we need to distinguish between market structure based on trend. You can find market structure based on where price is trending, and you can determine market structure based on support and resistance. We're going to do both. Yeah, let's dive into it. Here you can see the Bitcoin chart on the 1 week. This is kept very simple, so we can identify clean trends in this chart. On this chart, you can see that we have been trending up here in 2017 in this bull run, topping out here. Then we started a downtrend from here, a larger downtrend, as you can see, which bottomed out here at 3K. And then we had another uptrend, a local uptrend. Then we started a local downtrend to this point. Then we had a local uptrend again, and then a local downtrend. Then we started another uptrend. Now, it always depends on what kind of abstraction level you use. You could dissect it like this, like I did just now, by looking at local trends as well. I could even say, hey, this is a local downtrend, local uptrend, local downtrend, local uptrend, local downtrend. This is what is being used in Elliott waves too. So you can look at it from different perspectives. If you keep it simple, you would just say, hey, this is an uptrend, then we have a downtrend, maybe not like this, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. This is how a lot of people distinguish bull and bear markets, for example. Yeah, this is the uptrend starts here and is going up despite this drop, which is still a higher low to this low, so it's still in this uptrend. You could approach it like that. So if you want to determine the market structure based on trend, you could say, hey, this is a new phase, and we have a new phase from here. So we have this, 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 to keep it very simple. But you can, of course, go much more into detail and look at the lower time frames. For example, you can see we have sideways price action here, we have diagonal price action here, sideways here, down, sideways, up, down, up, up, yeah, down. So you can do it like this, of course. So the main takeaway here is that whenever we have, when we are in a new phase, the circumstances change. So the market conditions change. We as traders have to adapt to what the market presents us. So if there's a change in market structure, and in this case a trend, then we have to adapt to it. We have to realize that we can't go on without trading like we have been. There are the variables are now different. We have to see the difference. We have to feel it. We have to discover what is different now, so we can adapt with our strategies, with our methods, by the type of analysis we do. So this leads to change. Market structure breaks and shifts lead to change in our behavior as traders, as well as the behavior and dynamics of the market. The second possibility to distinguish between market structures, or single market structural areas, for example, is to use support and resistance. So we could go and draw a level, for example, like this. I'm going to turn this off. So you have this level, then you have this trend line, and you can see we have a market structure. Market structure means that we have support and resistance entities like this, and this is restricting price. This is actually confining price action to this very narrow trading range over here. This is something that you can do in order to find a structure. Sometimes it's actually the same. We have a sideways price action here and a downtrend here. So the cut, we break market structure on support and resistance at this point, and we also break it on the trend definition. So both is aligned here, but it is not always aligned. When we're talking about support and resistance, we have to keep in mind that you can look at it from very different angles and perspectives. We are on the weekly chart right now. You can also look at it on the hourly chart, for example, and you will find a completely different market structure this way. So it is it strongly depends on which time frame you're using. It also depends on the chart you're using. For example, I'm using the BitMEX chart for Bitcoin. If you go to maybe Binance or Bitstamp, Coinbase charts, they are a little bit different. So this might have an impact on market structure as well. Most probably only on the lower time frames, but there might be an impact. So keep an eye on that. It's very important to be careful with that. However, the really important structure is usually the same. So let's do something more visual. If you look at this chart, I'm going to draw a trend line now, like this. This is our trend line. This trend line, I'm going to extend it to both sides. As you can see, this trend line gives us some kind of structure. There is now a difference between this area and this area. This area down here, we can expect this area down here to be different to the area up here. So we have divided this limitless space, and we have we got rid of a huge area up here, which is not interesting to us anymore, and we are just looking at this. And when we enter this area, we know that the circumstances are changing and that something is different, and we have to reanalyze. Now I'm going to make this more visual, and I'm using this polyline tool. So I'm going to blacken this out like this. Now I'm going to draw another trend line. This one, for example. If you already know how to draw trend lines properly, good. If not, there's a quick TA session on that as well. Okay, let's keep it like that. Now you can see, if I zoom in a little bit, now you can see this chart looks a little bit different now. This is because we just added two trend lines, and these two trend lines give us a very clean market structure here. So you can see that we could, for example, we could start analyzing this. We could come up with ideas. For example, if price would go down here, it could probably come up here back again. So these are points of interest now because of our market structure based on support and resistance. For now, this doesn't have anything to do with trend. The trend definition is a little bit different. Both can be used simultaneously. Now this chart, you can keep on coming up with segments here. For example, like this, you have now two segments with this vertical kind of line. Let me quickly colorize this to make it perfectly clear where this is going. Going to make this teal. Now you can see there is this trend line. We have just broken it on the weekly. So what does this mean? It means that circumstances are changing. They are changing from this point on. The circumstances we have here are not valid here anymore. So we have to adapt. We have to analyze, to reanalyze. We have to grasp the situation. What is it about? How strong is the trend? We do have a trend change here. What will it mean to us, to our trading? This is something that you do by the use of market structure. A lot of traders who don't know and who don't analyze market structure think this is the same as over here. It's a dip. If you see the price action itself, here's a dip, here's a dip. But you can see the difference by using market structure. This is in a different area than this price action. So you know that the circumstances are changing or have changed already. And this move, which might look very similar to the previous one, is certainly not the same. It has a different significance, different level of significance. So we have to be careful in this case. We have to adapt and see how are the rules here? What are the rules? How does this area treat us as bulls, for example? How does this area treat us compared to this one? This is what you do by using market structure. Now you can go on like that. You can add trend lines, levels. You can also use levels. You can use a lot of things. For example, this level here, which is very significant. I'm going to make this green. Here you can see you can actually go further into that and come up with a very nice with a very nice structure on your markets. You don't have to do it like I'm doing this right now. This is just to demonstrate what market structure is and how it works. But you don't have to use this this kind of analysis, what I'm doing here. Yeah, you can do it like that, for example. And you see that, okay, while price is moving in this space, it is following some rules. If we break this and come into the next, I have to reanalyze, I have to consider that there might be rules and trend changing. Maybe the momentum will change too. There's a lot of things happening when we transition from one area into the next. The significance is higher with the more it is. You can expect the rules to change drastically when we use very significant support and resistance entities. So in this case, for example, I'm only using the most important trend lines here and levels. So you can expect a change of things when we transition from one into the other. This is certainly the case. Like here, for example, you can see this stagnating, then we cross this trend line, and the conditions change, right? Yeah, this is how you can approach this. And understanding when a crucial market structure is broken is very important. This method is a little bit different to the trend approach because it changes based on what kind of chart you're using. You can switch to the linear chart and see, I was just using the log chart, so the linear chart is different. It has a different structure than the log chart does. This is very important to understand. Some people use the linear chart. They are actually looking at a different structure, completely different structure. If you use trend, it is the same for all charts. So yeah, this is an advantage of the trend approach, but this one is certainly significant. I'm using this, only this. It's yeah, good enough to do all the structure analysis you need, and you can see when we can expect some very big changes to the rules of the market. This is good enough for me, but you can of course take a completely different approach. It's up to you. This is it for now, and yeah, on to the next session.